All right, there are 3 things that you are going to need to complete this assignment. You are working on this only and only if you are done with your embedded assessment. So this is the last thing that you should be working on for this week. All right, we started this last week actually. Last Friday, you listened to the song of the Ballad of Birmingham about the bombing of the 4 little girls, and you read an article about the bombing, and you also watched a short little movie clip about the 16th bombing street. So now we are going to, as we prepare and get ready for our state test in March, which is now just a couple weeks away, I have a few kind of air test-like questions that I'm going to have you answer over these 2 different passages. So if I were you, let's do some housekeeping here before you begin the assignment. I'm going to have you write, as I have up here, passage 1. So go ahead and write passage 1 on top of your article. And then I'm going to have you also, and make sure you have obviously both of these, passage number 2 on top of the Ballad of Birmingham. It may already be written there. The second thing I'm going to have you do is look at the copy that you have. I realize the Ballad of Birmingham shouldn't really need to leave the room because those are my copies, the bright green ones, but I had asked first period, and hopefully they all did it, to number the lines. So look at the copy that you have and make sure that all of the lines have numbers. As you can see here, each line has a number. All right, and if it doesn't, you'll need to pause the video and make sure that that happens. And look, as well as your article, only the front page. Don't turn the article over and do it on the back, but only the front page. Make sure, as you can see, that I have numbered these lines as well. So if either the song or the article does not have each line numbered, I want you to pause the video and I want you to make sure that the lines are numbered. That will help you for one of the questions, and that you distinguish the difference between passage number 1 and passage number 2 by writing that up at the top of each paper. So if you need to pause the video before we continue to take care of that housekeeping stuff, go ahead. All right, and then lastly, now that you have your 2 passages ready, I need for you to make sure that you have a copy of the questions. It should say paired text practice because we're comparing 2 different passages to one another, and make sure that you have the questions, and then we can go ahead and get started. Just a few things that I want to do to kind of set you up with these questions. So if you will, you're going to need a pencil or maybe a pen to write with. All right, with your pencil, go ahead, and I want you to think of these questions as being divided into 3 different sections. This is actually good news for you. I want you to circle and bring attention to that questions 1 through 7 are only about passage 1. And passage 1 is the article. So if you want to write that to remind yourself, great. Second of all, I guess we should probably, first of all, make sure your name is written on this, so you can do that right now as well. What I wanted to show you was that the questions for passage 1, although they are numbers 1 through 7, check this out. Because you just got done with your embedded assessment, you only have to pick 4. You only have to pick 4 to complete through numbers 1 through 7. That's good news. All right, then, as you can see here, part 2, if you turn the page, starts at number 8. And these are numbers 8 through 12. And it's only, these questions are only about, and maybe you want to write that, these are only about the song. Okay, and look, again, being nice. Only pick 3 out of these to work on. Okay, you only have to complete 3. And then if you go to the very last section of these questions, as you can see, I kind of I'm drawing lines. You can do that too if you want. You can draw lines to kind of remind yourself where it stops and divides. But anyways, the last section, I want to bring your attention to the word both. You're going to be using the song and the article. This is when you're comparing 2 different passages. You'll have to do that in March. You're going to have to compare 2 different articles. So anyways, or 2 different items. Here it's a song and an article. So I'm going to have you complete all of these. It's only questions 13 through 16, so therefore I'm going to have you complete all of these. Go ahead and go to the very last page. One last thing I need you to do before you begin. These did not have numbers. next to them. So go ahead and label the first one A, the second one B, the third C, the fourth D, and the fifth one E. Okay? If this were the test in March and you were on an iPad, you would take, if you thought that A belonged, over here for support for the passage, you would drag this and you would drop it. Okay? Maybe E you felt belonged over here for support for passage 2, you would drag it and drop it. And you know what? Listen, just so that we don't get confused, I think that we should identify which is which. So if I were you, right above passage 2, I would write the song to kind of remind yourself. And above passage 1, I would write the article, just so that you don't forget, which one you're trying to support on which side. Okay, I would say right now you are ready to begin. We've divided it into 3 different parts. I've told you how many you have to do for each section, so hopefully you wrote those little notes down to remind yourself at the beginning of each one. And you are ready to begin. Go ahead and start. Good luck. Please read the questions carefully. I want you to cross out the ones you know can't be it. Try to use that strategy to get to the correct answer.